If I didn't know any better, I'd think I was in Louisiana. It's just delicious. Hello everyone. Today we're going to be doing what I call my Cajun shrimp boil, which is boiled shrimp, corn on the cob, also some new potatoes, and I'll show you how we do that. The first thing that I do is I use a combination of beer and water as my liquid in my shrimp boil. And you don't have to use Budweiser. That's what I had, so that's what I'm using today. But I'll pour the beer in the pot, 4 of them, first before I add my spices to keep the spices, because I use a lot of the Cajun spices, and this kind of helps hold it into the pot. But I'm going to use 4 beers, and then I will add all of my other spices and all the other good stuff that we put in it. Okay, so I have I've emptied 4 of the Budweisers in there, and I've got this Tony Chacker's original Creole seasoning that I use for my spice and Cajun flavoring. There's about 1/4 of a container left on this, and I'm going to go ahead and just use all of that. I don't really measure specifics on this. I just kind of go by ear, as they say in the music business. But I'm going to dump all of that Cajun seasoning in there. So that seasoning's in there. The next thing that I am going to put in, and again, you don't have to use Kirkland's, but this is the minced garlic from Kirkland's. I'm cooking 6 pounds of shrimp today, so I'm going to dump the juice in there. There wasn't that much in here, maybe 2 tablespoons of the minced garlic was in there. So I'm going to add some more.
And with us, we kind of like take on the with garlic the same way that we also take with bacon. There's never too much.
Right. And of course you can see I'm using just plenty of garlic. This is where you're going to get your good flavoring. Garlic powder. Again, just dumping it in there. And then onion powder. Again, just dumping it in there.
And we'll try to have rough measurements in the description as to about how much we think we're adding to the shrimp boil mix itself. But you know, we sort of have done this for so long that it's kind of one of those things, we just know what the right amount is.
Right. Now, what I'm doing now is just trying to settle down those spices, because it will make you sneeze and cough a little bit as the dry ingredients or spices come into the air. But I'm going to take this over here and I'm going to fill this pot up pretty good with maybe 3/4 of the way up, because I'm going to add, of course, the shrimp and the corn and potatoes. So I'm going to just kind of mix that in and let it all get a good mixture. Oh man, that's smelling good.
Like I said, we're having corn on the cob with it, with some baby new potatoes. Now, I've seen probably a dozen or 2 dozen or so of different recommendations or techniques for desilking corn on the cob. But of course, I always forget all of those when I'm actually in the process of doing it. So I went ahead and did that ahead of time, because I'm sure I would have looked like a complete idiot trying to get all the silk off of this corn.
Okay, what I'm doing is turning this on high. I'm gonna let those spices and the beer and water, I'm gonna let those boil for about 30 minutes and let all the flavor meld together before I put shrimp or potatoes or corn in there. Okay, the water's been boiling with just the spices for about 20 to 30 minutes, and it does smell good. We're getting ready to, I'm gonna add the shrimp and the corn to start with. And man, this looks good. I'm gonna go ahead and start. Out of the 6 pounds of shrimp that I have, I'm gonna add about 1.5 pounds to 1 3/4 pounds of the shrimp. I like my corn a little more done than just dropping it in there for 2 or 3 minutes. So I'm gonna add my corn on the cob. Can just add several of those. This is actually 6 ears of corn that we're having with this. And we'll eat on this. We'll have some tonight, and we'll have some, you know, as we eat the shrimp cold or heat it up, either one. I'm gonna hold off on putting my potatoes in until maybe 10 minutes before my last batch of shrimp's done cooking. And we like these are the jumbo extra large shrimp. We like the extra large jumbo shrimp. To us, they're just better. Of course, the small would work also. But I'm gonna put about half of the shrimp in this first batch. You could, if you had a pot big enough, put all of them in there, but that's a lot of shrimp with corn on the cob and potatoes, so I do it in 2 batches. This is a standard size pot. Okay, so I've got the corn and the shrimp in the pot, if you want to show them what it looks like. Now I'm going to let that pot come back up to a full boil before I pull that shrimp out. And I'm going to leave the corn in there and pull the corn out when I pull my second batch of shrimp out of the pot.
All right, we're gonna start off with 1 cup of ketchup. And we're gonna get our horseradish nice and fresh. Now we do like it a bit spicy, so we are gonna start off with 1 good heaping, about 1 tablespoon of horseradish. And our Worcestershire. So mix this in there. I'm gonna probably about 7 or 8 dashes of the Worcestershire, and just stir that up until it's well combined. And then I always just sort of take a look at the color, just to get the right color, because then I know it's about the temperature that I want. And where that looks about right, and of course that is about right. I know a lot of people would actually stop right there. We're gonna kick it up just a little bit. We're gonna add some Frank's or Louisiana hot sauce, really whatever you like best. We're still gonna add probably about maybe about 6 dashes of that. And of course, since it goes well with everything, some sriracha sauce, because it's just delicious in this cocktail sauce. And I just kind of eyeball it. That's probably going to be about 3 tablespoons. I'll have the actual recipe and breakdown in the description. Just mix that up That sriracha and the Franks just kicks that cocktail sauce up to a completely different level. And of course I've got to try to sample it just a little bit. That's just incredible. Goes perfect with that hot spicy shrimp we're making. And let's head on over to the shrimp. Let's see if that's done yet.
All right, these bad boys are done. So we're gonna get just the shrimp out. Woo, man, they smell good. Wow. This guy out here's got to get back in there though. Look at that. Woo-wee, what a feast. Show them that bowl. Now, if you don't like that, you're crazy. Still digging them shrimp out of there. Man, I can't wait to sample these and make sure that they meet the quality standards. I gotta check them, you know, before I actually serve them to make sure they meet my quality standards. I got just a few in there. Set this bowl down over here on this side. I'll bring it back over there in just a minute. Okay, so I think I've rescued all of the shrimp. I'm still leaving my corn on the cob in there because I like it. I don't want it I want it cooked a little bit longer. So I'm going to let that set, and I'm going to add the rest of these shrimp and new potatoes to this pot here. And the new potatoes, they come out perfect, man, the way that I do this. I got new potatoes and the last of the shrimp going in. Okay. Now I'm going to let that come back up to a full boil now that I've added my second batch of shrimp and the new potatoes, and then I will pull the shrimp out then. But on these shrimp over here that are out, what I'm going to do is add another little sprinkling of my spices that I added. This is the Cajun seasoning. Again, I don't measure this. I just make sure that the shrimp are coated good. That was the Cajun seasoning. This is the garlic powder. Nothing too crazy. Just make sure they're coated pretty good. And then a little onion powder. And I'm going to just stir that all, mix that all up and make sure that all of the spices are coated good. There's not any dry spices on there. Man, that sure does smell good. Woo, man. Show them what that, give them a close-up of that. Does that look like a Cajun cook that? It sure is good. I sure can't wait to try it. So like I said, I'm gonna make sure that this meets the quality standard that I have before I actually serve it. So Michael, if you want to get one of those and just see if you think it's any good, we'll sample one of them. And of course they still have the skins on them. Look at that. And this is the cocktail sauce that Michael made earlier. I think I'd buy that in a restaurant if they could make it that good. That is just absolutely delicious. Let me do one more. Ow, kind of hot. It's so good, so delicious. You get you one, Michael. You let me know if they're any good.
Here, now these are hot. You know, they just came out of that boiling water. And I burn my fingers every time we go to sample it. But getting this hot and after the spices, it's that is just freaking incredible. I would put this up against any restaurant that we've been to for boiled shrimp, much less hot boiled spicy shrimp. This stuff is just freaking incredible.
I'm gonna let this batch here that I pulled out kind of cool down a little bit. I'm gonna let this second batch boil down, and then we'll put it on a plate and show you what we're actually getting to eat tonight.
Okay. While he's in there waiting for this second pot to get done, I'm in here sneaking some more. Truth be told, before that second batch gets done, between the two of us, we'll probably eat probably a pound of the stuff. That's just freaking incredible. And that sauce, like I said before, that sriracha and the franks that we add to it, in addition to the Cajun seasonings and the garlic powder, onion powder, all that kind of stuff, I mean, it kicks this up into a whole, this is a different game they're playing now. This stuff's good.
The sauce is delicious. Oh my God. All right, the second batch is ready to come out. Look at the corn on the cob. I'm gonna pull that out. I'm gonna put them in a different bowl. The new potatoes. that corn out of there. It's a little bit of a job to keep those shrimp from coming out with the corn on the cob and the new potatoes, but I sure can't wait to eat. Two of those potatoes got slipped in there. All right, so that's it. I'm going to take that off of the heat, turn that down, and I'm going to season the second batch. Just kind of liberally go or lightly over that. This is the garlic powder. And put a little onion powder on there. I'm just going to stir this and mix all of those seasonings in with the shrimp until I don't see any dry spices on the shrimp. Just make sure basically that it's just mixed in good. And I'm going to season the corn and the new potatoes and what I got a few shrimp in there. Going to season them the same way. Little garlic powder. Same thing, I'm going to just try to mix the spices in to where I don't have any dry spices. And of course, when you're eating, you can always add a little more if you would like. But that's going to be delicious. So now what I'm going to do is plate a couple of these plates up. And let's see if it's any good. And it's filling, and it is calorie friendly. What I like to do also is take a little bit of this Cajun seasoning and put it on my plate, and I like to dip my potatoes in with that to give my potatoes a little Cajun flair. Let me just try a potato and see if they came out good. Delicious. If I didn't know any better, I'd think I was in Louisiana. It's just delicious. The cocktail sauce is fantastic, and the shrimp is just delicious with it. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, please subscribe, press the like button, and press the bell icon on the notifications. We look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.